Okay, so for my activity, I got 9/11, and this is called Apples in the Trees. So you would project a double 10 frame onto your board or smart board or screen or whatever, and you would tell your oops, you would tell your students that you had some apples falling out of your trees. And then you would tell them how many apples you have at the bottom. And you would have them help you figure out how many you still have left in the trees. So I'm going to use 14 in the trees, and I will tell my students that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 apples that have fallen to the ground. And I would say, could you guys help me figure out how many apples are still in my tree? And they would be able to see that. Sorry about that. They would be able to see that this is 10 apples and this is just 4 apples, and they would be able to make the relationship that this means a group of 10. And so you would also ask them to share how they figured that out. So they could say that you have 10 apples up here because these are all grouped together. And then down here, you could have 10, but you're missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 10 minus 6 leaves you 4 apples left. And you can do this with different combinations. So you could do 10 and 2, and your students could tell you that there are 12 apples left because there's 10 up here and 2 left in this box. Or you could do 17. I guess you should probably fill it out the better way. Okay, so you could show them that you have 10 up here and 7 down here. And how do they know that this is just 7 other than just counting? Well, when you have 10 squares, this is a 10 frame, and 10 minus 3 equals 7. You could also do an even number of 20. And ask them, instead of having a random number of apples, you could just do 20 to fill up the 10 frames perfectly. And you could ask your students to hide the bottom where you have had the apples fallen. And if you say originally you had 20 and you went through all your combinations, and at the end all the apples were back up in the trees, how many apples would have still be fallen to the ground? So you could kind of turn this into not only like grouping and number relationships in 10 frames, but you could also use this to create story problems. And I loved the idea of using apples falling out of the tree for younger kids because I think that that's something they can relate to, and it makes it more fun than just learning. But you can also use like bingo chips, dot markers, and all different kinds of things to do this activity. And so, yeah, that's it. And you can do this with a lot of different values. You could even take all of these away and ask how many apples are left, or how many apples are left in this tree. Or you could separate these into 2 trees and have them add together the total apples between trees. So you could say, my first tree has 8 apples in it, and my second tree has 2 apples left in it. How many apples do we have left total? And things like that. So I think this is a great activity that could be done really easily with younger kids, especially in the primary grades. And there's so many different things you could do it with, like I said, not just apples, but bingo chips and dot markers and all that fun stuff. So I hope you liked this demonstration, and I really enjoyed doing it. So thank you.